Welcome to episode 26.
That's right.
Of Superior Podcast.
I'm Hal Sparks.
And I am Frank Prather.
I'm Hal Sparks, and this is
Frank Prather. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Took us 26 episodes, and we're going to figure this out one of these days.
Yeah.
Hey, good to be back.
Yeah.
Because we skipped a week.
We did, because I've been working my butt off. I literally, it's the coolest and oddest thing, but for the last 2 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've either had comedy or music performances each week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the last 2 weeks, just in a row, like major singing gigs, major stand-up event moments for me. Like this Tuesday, I sang for the American Heart Association, the Ultimate Jam Night at the Whiskey, which is every Tuesday. I recommend it if you're over in the LA area. They dedicated the whole thing to the American Heart Association, raised money.
But every Tuesday it's for the American Heart Association?
But this particular week it was for the AHA.
Got it.
So they were raising money for the American Heart Association, raising awareness. They had a table upstairs, teach people to do CPR, which is, I think, appropriate for me to come and sing since I've done CPR 3 times and everybody lived. Honestly.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought it up.
That's right. I would have kept it to myself.
Everybody died, but I gave it the college try.
3 shots and 100%. I'm at 100% batting average right now or whatever. But anyways, so I sang Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue and Hide Your Heart by Kiss.
Ooh, Kickstart My Heart's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was a good time. And it is... That's a high song to sing. I very distinctly remember when that album came out, the big news was there were 90 tracks of vocals. Literally, like the lead vocals in the background were so thick that they had because his voice is, it's so teeny that they would just stack it until it sounded ferocious. And it took so much time to get it all lined up. But you'll hear it kind of mixed in and out in that song, and everything's a gang vocal, even the lead.
Oh yeah,
it's just a lot of work.
But that voice, that teeny thin voice, but so many hair bands back in the day, and I loved it. Cinderella, you fucking name it. Like those, for whatever reason, I liked rap and hair bands.
Sure.
So dudes that were like, fuck that chick, gonna fuck your mother and kill your brother and stick your sock in another motherfucker.
Don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah, the white.
I will not be singing anywhere any night.
White Boston and Philly version of Janis Joplin, essentially the white male version of that. But and the whole I mean, there's a reason why sonically that makes sense, is because for a guy to cut through sonically, vocally, you need a higher vocal pitch to even notice. Because you could have an awesome singer with a baritone voice, but if there's 2 guitar players and the bass is mixed in legitimately, you wouldn't hear the guy. You wouldn't go, that guy's a great singer. Because you'd never hear it sonically. You can hear it in big band because the horns are way up here and the drums are light and tinny.
Right.
But, so if somebody wants to be a golden voice, and have that Sinatra voice, then they can, in that kind of band, it works. In metal, unless you're like, I'm on my way, unless you're singing, home sweet home, in that zone, you're just invisible.
Right.
The band. When you see somebody live, you go, I don't know, I couldn't hear the singer at all. Because you're not.
But if they're not a hair band, why would you see them live?
That's right. Because it's a waste of your time.
Yeah, it's a huge waste of time. Because there's no musical talent outside of the early 90s. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. And if I want to see a bunch of musicians looking at their shoes, I'll go to a bus stop in West Hollywood.
Right.
And just kind of, right.
Yeah, fucking grunge.
I seem to recognize you feel.
Stop it. Hurting my life.
So anyway, I, each one of them was... because I'm a strong singer, I feel very comfortable with my singing voice. I'm in operatic terms, I'm what's called a heroic tenor. I have a higher range than most males.
Also wears a cape.
That's right, yeah, because I can save lives while singing. I do CPR and sing at the same time. You're gonna live. And, so anyway, so I already have I can skate on talent, essentially. My voice and my throat I'm loud enough and my breath control is strong enough that I'm okay compared to most people. It's kind of like Elvis impersonators. One of the reasons why there's so many Elvis impersonators, because almost any guy can do the Elvis voice without much work at all.
I don't sing, but if I do sing, even to my son or around the house, pretty much singing the Elvis voice.
That's right.
Not the full on Southern accent because I have to super fake that, but the kind of like, how you doing?
Right, that's right.
Are you lonesome tonight?
Right. It doesn't. It takes zero effort. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's that's reasonable for an adult male voice, but I've always loved like the Sebastian Bach, the Jeff Tate, the 80s Paul Stanley.
Oh, Skid Row.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So I sang
I
sang Piece of Me from the first Skid Row record last night at Lucky Strike.
Oh, wow.
And Billy William Brent from Lab Rats joined me on stage and played guitar.
But didn't you also recently sing with Sebastian?
I did on Comedy Jam.
Yeah,
Comedy
right,
Central.
on Comedy Jam.
Yeah, we did a AC/DC song. Not because that was our choice necessarily, but because the song was already cleared and they had a gap and they were like, hey, can you come in and fill in this? It was a weird circumstance. I love those guys. The production company that puts that show on, they were all really cool and accommodating considering, but they had a limitation. They're like, yeah, we cleared this song and we need it for this week. But
I don't give a fuck if you had to sing Little White Duck by Burl Ives. You sang on Comedy Central, which I enjoy, with fucking Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. Like, that's all that matters.
I know. And that's the second time I've sung on TV with him. I sang 18 in Life with him on Celebrity Duets. And so Sebastian and I go way back.
Oh, that gives me a music
TV.
boner.
Yeah. And dude, he talks
super gay to say that.
The funniest moment, I think, of my music life and all the experiences I've had, and I've had some fairly Spinal Tap moments in my life, was backstage at Celebrity Duets. One of them was Al Jarreau, bless his heart, rest in peace, such a sweet dude. I walked back and the hallway was completely empty. I turned a corner and I had just sung We're Not Gonna Take It with Dee Snider.
Right.
On stage. Great. It was a great experience. I walk off stage and I'm the only person, like I just walk in and Al Jarreau is way down the hall by himself, just in an empty hallway in between the dressing rooms, like maybe 35 feet away, to himself, thinking no one's around, going, we're not gonna take it back. We're not gonna take it back. Because he sings and does all the instruments. And I was like, I'm seeing this man's moment by himself. And it was inspired by something that Dee and I just did.
That's amazing.
It was just like so bizarre. The other one was, I come down there, hallway's empty again, because everybody else is out watching everybody else's, and I had to run back and change for the interview part of it. So I go back there, and Sebastian showed up and apparently showered in his room. But he's a giant person. He's tall. He's like 14. And so I walk out, and he's standing in the hallway, naked but for a towel around his waist, which is built for a normal size human. So it's almost like a
mini skirt,
a dish towel mini skirt around his waist, sopping wet, like long wet hair. And he's just standing there in the middle of the hallway by himself. And he sees me and he goes, dude, this is so fucking boring. And his timing was so gorgeous. Like, I was like, oh, this is so cool. No, fucking boring. So anyways, so Sebastian, by the way, learned a lot from him, singing with him, being around him, technique wise, all that stuff. I'm going to start a thing on my YouTube channel, I think, where I get people who are great at shit to teach me.
Smart.
Yeah, and just go like Sebastian Bach teaches me how to sing or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And because I want I'm learning mandolin and I've been working on it a lot lately, and I just want to go to Sam Bush's house in Nashville and go, Sam Bush teaches me to play mandolin. Here's what he needs, to get me up to speed. And
never heard of Sam Bush.
Oh man.
Also, I know what a mandolin is. I think it's like a ukulele but fancier.
It's that's a
yes.
It's got 8 strings.
More strings.
Most people will know it from like the Godfather.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of bluegrass, it is a virtuoso instrument because the neck is so small that the idea of actually doing any kind of real finger work on the neck besides just chords is difficult as hell. It's up there with concert violin.
So if you're good at it, you're essentially the Yngwie Malmsteen of ukuleles.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
All right, excellent.
Yeah,
all right.
Well,
for all those people out there that don't know what.
And
also,
by the way,
a delicious dish at Chinese restaurants.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
the Yngwie.
Yeah. I just learned an Yngwie Malmsteen guitar exercise because I've been lately I've been doing this thing my afternoons, because I'm developing the show. I've had these shows at night, and my afternoons are like, I should be napping and resting because my day, the spike of energy I need for a show or meetings is so oddly placed.
Yeah.
But I've started doing this thing where I'm dedicating 45 minutes a day to 4 different areas to just help build gradually brick by brick the skill of these things. So I've been doing 45 minutes of Chinese, 45 minutes of guitar, 45 minutes of vocal exercises, and 45 minutes of abject study, meaning there are like 6 or 7 different topics I need to make progress on. And of course, singing along with Queen. So I've been doing, and it's like a 3-hour block in my day. So sometimes I'll do that really early. Sometimes it's in the afternoon. Sometimes it's because I can't sleep because I just sang on stage in front of 1,000 people and I'm like wide awake. But it's been awesome. But I've been chipping away at these things, and I've progressed so much faster than I thought I would. I mean, everybody knows that you make incremental progress all the time. It's of course going to add up over time, but a lot of times it's exponential. You know what I mean?
We've talked about this because when you're trying to do multiple things simultaneously, which a lot of people don't do, and
because they're weak.
Yeah, because they're soft.
Yeah.
Fucking pussies.
That's right.
But if there's no organization to it and there's no consistency to it, a lot of people don't do it because they don't improve at any of the things.
That's right.
Which then makes sense if you're not capable of doing things simultaneously. So giving them specific time blocks, and I love the 45-minute time block. Half hour I feel like is too short.
Yep.
An hour, if you're doing multiple things, feels like a long time.
Yep.
45 minutes feels right. Takes you a little time to get ramped up and get into it. You get your entire, fulfilling amount of time, whatever that is. Yeah, 35 minutes or whatever.
I feel like I've got 25 minutes of legit progress in a 45-minute span.
Makes sense. 10 to warm up, 10 to cool down, kind of, and then move on to the next thing.
That's right. And I literally, on day 5, I had such a pinky on the pinky blister. Like it was so because I realized over the course of about a week, I've been using my pinky to play more than ever in my life. And I've always used it more, I think, as a rhythm player than most of the people I know. But in doing these really high speed exercises, this is my first foray into I want to get to my shred level. I know it's possible. So let's do it. What's it going to take? And it's going to take 45 minutes a day. So I've been just powering at that. And the exercise I learned was from an Yngwie video on YouTube.
Oh, was it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a point when I was a teenager where it was I'm going to be a rock star. And my grandfather was a music teacher.
Oh, wow.
So literally I had free lessons for everything. Never practiced. Hardly ever took the lessons.
Wow.
It was good. And of course now at this point in life,
damn it.
Mad. Although ironically, if I could go back, it wouldn't have been guitar; it would have been piano.
Right?
Because I'm such a lover of a good pianist.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, that's what everybody's heard it, but nobody's seen it. Love it. Right. Love me some Elton. But all of my guitar player friends at that time who were actually into it and practicing, they had the Yngwie is God T-shirts and all. Man. That was how I discovered him and listened to his records and stuff. So
the amazing thing to me is that the guy, I'm always amazed by guys who can play with rings on, and maybe it's because I have short fingers or something like that. But the idea, whenever I try to even practice, rock stars all these rings and bracelets and stuff, and all I can ever hear is clack, clack, clack. It sounds like someone crunching lozenges into a microphone. Just I can't even articulate the keys. And he plays with these big, they look like Super Bowl rings on his hands, and he has scalloped frets, which sounds delicious, but is actually just scooped out in between. The wood is scooped out in between the frets where
that's where you keep the cheese.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a ravioli of frets, right? But in between each fret marker on the guitar, it's there's a divot, and Steve Vai does the exact same thing. They are completely divoted so that and it gives them more room to bend the note in and up. It's a weird technique thing. I can't play like that at all. I have 3 screws in my ring finger, and it already pushes harder on everything because of the muscle in it and the tendon and how it just regrew than the other 3 fingers. So I need all my I need that thing flat. I need medium frets. So if I push too hard, every third note, my ring finger's notes will always be slightly out of tune. Is the point. because it'll push it in. If I had scallop frets, you wouldn't even be able to hear the chord. It would just be a nonsense. But I don't even. So I watch the videos and I'm like, I don't even begin to know how to work with what he's doing.
Next,
yeah, right.
Next. Oh, good cat video.
But the exercises themselves, I'm like, okay, that's one I can start in. I was like, okay, this is a good one. And he was going, this is a good thing to coordinate your the fingers in your left hand and your picking hand. And I'm like, that's exactly what I need. I'm going to dial in on that one. And I started doing it with such like insane ferocity that I was like literally driving and I tapped my finger on it. God damn it. What the hell's wrong with my finger? And I looked at it and it was like a balloon. Ew. It was the biggest blister I've ever had. Now it's a callus and that's badass.
Yeah. Now it's like,
but initially I was like, oh yeah, right. I've never, ever used my pinky that much in playing or whatever. So anyway, 45 minutes, 4 elements a day. I do it in a 3-hour block. There's technically in between the two 90-minute segments I give myself a 10-minute or 15-minute break if I need it. If I don't, I just power through. Yeah. And it's been pretty consistent.
Grab a refreshment.
That's right.
Sure.
Some of the stuff I'm able to double up, meaning some of the guitar stuff I'll watch a video of an exercise I want to do, or I'll play along with a solo or that kind of thing. But then other times, if it's just a coordinative exercise to get my hands together, I don't have to hear it to know I'm doing something. So I can watch like videos on Chinese idioms that I'm trying to learn and just let my fingers do that while I'm watching this other thing. So it kind of almost transitions from one block into another. Right. Because I finished it. I know what the exercise is. I've been doing it over and over and over again. Anyway, so I've been doing that lately, and it's been incredibly invigorating, so much that I'm now kind of addicted to it. Like I get I'm getting a little antsy if I don't get to have that 3-hour block in the afternoon or whenever, preferably in the afternoon. Like it feels good, like 3 to 6. And I was talking to my cousin, and I'm curious what you think about this, is that he was saying his best creative time, and a lot of the science is this is that your best creative time is when you first wake up. And I know, you work out first thing in the morning. That's part of your thing as well. And I'm sort of creative in the early or late hours. It's like that when the sun is not completely on this side of the earth. Yeah. It's like as long as it's ruled by the moon, it's creative space. Whether it's 5 a.m. or whether it's 3 a.m. from the night before, it doesn't really matter to me. I feel like that's the zone. So early morning or super late at night are equally good for me. But it feels like then that in the afternoon would be the time for repetitive tasks.
That seems reasonable. I mean, for your particular circadian rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, yes, mornings are the best because my mind the day starts with a clear mind. Mm-hmm. And
what's that like?
Yeah. The clearest mind for me, and what I mean is like none of the clutter of the day has started to infiltrate my head yet. Okay. Of like work, like, my wife and kid are still asleep. Like I'm just the moment is free for me. Mm-hmm. So my mind is a little bit free when I first wake up, which is why I use that time to read and, start to fill it with thoughts and have creative thinking. For me, that's the best time to write too. Mm-hmm. And then somewhat at the end of the day, used to be a little bit better before I had a kid. Now the day mostly ends with him, so it's cluttered with a lot of focus on that. But that's awesome and creative in its own way. And I work out in the mornings because of my schedule. Mm-hmm. But yes, I would love to do it in the afternoon and just have that sort of, I don't want to call a workout repetitive, but it doesn't take any of my creative or thinking.
That's right. Like a mental break just to reinforce physical abilities.
Yeah. But most people work 9 to 5. Yeah. So they don't have the ability to do those types of things in the afternoon. Also, most people probably don't have the ability to set aside 3 hours a day.
Right.
As you probably wouldn't at any time where you're working on set or doing those types of things.
Exactly. Yeah. If I'm shooting a show, that's out the window.
Yeah.
But in between, I mean, it's almost like the prep time for something else. And it's a lot, I sort of akin it to all those, stories famous and certainly ones that ended up in movies that we all kind of aspire to. When you watch a movie, you're like, this guy got his degree after school, after work, or after, every day by studying well into the night. Those kind of moments where people are like, oh, yeah, that's an inspiring story about a guy who worked as a janitor, got his doctorate or whatever. Those,
right.
That after they got done with what most people would go, I'm done for the day. They put in those extra hours which make for a great 80s movie montage with some like, Echo and the Bunnymen, Tangerine Dream kind of music, like a Real Genius,
Oh, yeah.
Number one is the hard time in the making. And there's one with a Bunsen burner and shuffling papers and going to the library and looking through stuff and arguing.
Where is Val Kilmer?
He just had a cancer scare, but he apparently healed from it. He's doing okay. He was playing. The greatest thing is Hal Holbrook was doing Mark Twain, as a story. Well, apparently Val took it over.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he started doing this amazing. He did it at the Geffen, I think, and everybody went to see it like, oh, this would be crazy because Val's got kind of a bit of an odd post Doors. Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
And I think we can all kind of extrapolate our own beliefs about maybe why.
Val Kilmer, very underrated.
Amazing.
Because, everybody loves the Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
I'll be a Huckleberry.
That's one of the greatest characters of all time.
Yeah.
But Real Genius as a youth.
Oh my God. It's still one of my inspiring movies. Yeah.
Yeah. He was, what is it? Christ, what is,
Chris Knight?
No, the guy now that's everybody's darling that plays
Elon Musk.
Deadpool.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he was Ryan Reynolds.
He was Ryan Reynolds before Ryan Reynolds was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he was Ryan Reynolds before Ryan Reynolds was Jim Carrey.
That's right. And then The Saint, which was a little
known. Dude, he's terrific in it. Where he plays amazing. Multiple characters. And that was his idea, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that originally they were just going to have it be disguises but not change too much. And he went away apparently with the script, and they rewrote these entire sections based on him playing these characters. That's all him.
That movie. Loved
me
it.
too. His where he's being frisked basically, and they're going through all his stuff. Oh, everyone talking about these chips, these fish and chips. You English on the plane. I had the chicken. It's just so good when he's smuggling the chip in the girl's necklace. Just terrific. And of course, if you he's done a bunch of these kind of obscure, like Salton Sea and Kill Me Again, these like kind of weird 90s noir movies that he was doing when he wasn't working much. They're all awesome. He's terrific in them. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is him and Downey together. We love Val Kilmer around here.
Love me some Val Kilmer.
Yeah, but all those like montages where people like Secret of My Success is another good one. Any of those movies where it's the mental version of the workout scene in Rocky IV.
Right.
Is so inspiring to just like dig in and start learning, and to the point where the other day I realized I put on when I'm studying. I put on Mozart most of the time because I feel like the study chill music that a lot of like kids are using on campuses nowadays, they're using that because their Adderall has tweaked them completely out. So they're like almost taking the edge off of it by listening to chill music. I'm like, it puts me to sleep. So I put on Mozart. But the other day I was like, I wonder if there's like a Tangerine Dream kind of 80s Real Genius study moment like on YouTube or something, like somebody's just like 6 hours of 80s. I'm like, they don't have it. I'm like, I got to put that together. So I literally put together a playlist of the study music and the kind of montage music from like Risky Business and Real Genius and Secret of My Success. And, just because I find those,
Oh, that's got to be an awesome playlist.
No, it's beautiful. We'll share it at some point as I'll post it on the thing or something. It's on my iPad. Yeah. Anyways, so I've been doing that part of that study lately, and it's been really invigorating. It's like that part of it, like to the point where I'm not saying I'm rude to anybody about it, but I just definitely need to disappear for a chunk of the day right now because I'm really in that mode,
Yeah. Hence, we didn't record the podcast yesterday because Hal was supposed to be here at 3:00, and at 3:15 I texted and said, "Did you forget?"
I was at an audition though. That was an audition.
Yeah.
They're like, they need you today, or you can put yourself on tape there, but you'll have to come over. But the only time the director's there, and I was like. It was one of those things where those things happen so fast I forget what day it is. I'm like, is this Tuesday or Wednesday? What day is it? Okay, I'll go. Yeah, sure. And that's my time management.
Can you say what it was for?
Yeah, it was for a really weird TV show. I'm blitzing on the name right now. But to play basically a 98-year-old priest but like in total character,
right.
kind of, I think Billy Crystal in Princess Bride makeup,
yeah.
Kind of thing. So
that'd be fun.
Yeah, totally great. So and there was a little bit of these days I'm looking for stuff mostly that I can improv in. Or do a little more character additive because I think I got because of Lab Rats. I got greedy with the ability to just make jokes and have them use them because on Queer as Folk, literally, if there was an in the script, you said it. It got to the point where, out of respect for our writers and not knowing how they had a zero change policy. Largely because of a couple of the other actors, I think were always wanting to change stuff, and so they had to lay down a line. Because if they let me do it, then that if they put a typo in, I would mispronounce the word to the typo, and I would, as an actor, I would make it make sense that not everyone speaks well all the time. Sometimes you mispronounce a word. Sure. And you just keep going on.
I mean, I don't, but other people.
So other people. I've heard of it happening. But the point is, and to me, that was a great creative exercise. It was not, it was kind of like a little mini Ibsen play in the middle of otherwise normal dialogue. And they go, that's a typo. We want to fix it. I'm like, okay, well, then fix it next time. But I'll say it exactly as it's written because that's what I'm doing for you guys. That's what you want. That's what you get.
Yep. You asked for it.
That's right. So
you demanded it.
That's right. So, anyways, I've been really excited about the idea of performing at my top level lately, and swinging for the fences. And I've realized that as great as I feel about, and this is a good space to be in, as great as I feel about my stand-up, as great as I feel about my music, as great as I feel about my acting that I've done in the past, I feel like I've just edged past a plateau. In those areas where I'm like, everything has deepened, everything has expanded in quality. And so, like, I've been taking singing lessons.
Yeah, I know you've been talking about, like, you've been back in training for singing, and, back in acting lessons and stuff like that. Yeah. You get to hang out with me, so the comedy naturally is going to get better.
Flows.
Because me.
Yeah, right. It sharpens.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I haven't taken an acting class, and that's the one area where in toying around. I've been studying in other ways, like I've been reading books on it. I got the master class. I got hooked on masterclass.com. Have you seen Masterclass? I'm
aware of it. Yeah,
it's kind of bitching.
I know you like it.
I got the Steve Martin one because I was like, But
you also like Tony Robbins, so
that's right. But but there was like both Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey teaching acting. I got the Kevin Spacey one, and I have my opinions about it. There's definitely something to it. It was more relaxing to realize that even great actors have the same dumb ideas about acting that other people I've had to work with have, and go, if I ever had to work with him, I would know how to manage him as a co-star.
Sure.
Because that's often how you find yourself. And this is not to dismiss his acting chops, because he's amazing. But he operates within a parameter as an actor. He's got...
Meaning Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Yeah. He's got this box he operates in, and it's terrific. It works very well. It's very Broadway stage in some ways. I think if you look at American Beauty, his performance in American Beauty, you can really see...
I can see that.
The stage in him, stage performer.
It's a little theatrical.
That's right. It's not going to go away anytime soon, and that's fine. Other actors are brutally personal to the point of almost boredom. They're so internal, they're almost giving you nothing. And I think the reality of technique lies somewhere in the middle, and the Buddhist middle way of this. So
I don't mean to cut you off. It's interesting that you say that, because I'm a fan of House of Cards on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of really, really fully immersed in real characters, actors, and then Kevin Spacey, who's a little bit of a caricature on the show.
Well, and because he's talking to you, he's breaking the fourth wall.
But he's like it's like they put they filmed a play.
Yeah.
And then they superimposed the character from the play on the film version of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's larger than the extremity of the people. And Robin Wright is so real.
Oh yeah.
In everything she does, that there is no, like, Forrest Gump falls apart is a stupid movie without her. Everybody else's performance being as good as they are without the root of Jenny's reality.
Yeah.
That movie could have become a caricature. It could have become an absurd, almost airplane level comedy if you're not paying attention to it.
I'm going to write a movie where Robin Wright is like is a villain. She seems like she could be such a good villain.
Her Claire character arguably is the decent villain.
Claire with more energy,
yes,
is a great villain for any Marvel movie.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. Yeah. It would be interesting if she had been like Thanos or something like that. If you took, because they basically. I forget who's playing Thanos, blitzing on it right now. It's the guy from No Country for Old Men and Brolin. And Brolin's playing him, and they just CG based on him talking and his facial expressions or whatever. I would love that to do that with her. Take her real eyes, but put a CG body and that kind of thing, and have her act with dots. And by the way, if you ever want to see the greatest example of CG acting, someone acting in a context where they are going to be made into a CG character and they are owning it and doing more than anyone, you must watch Benedict Cumberbatch's Smaug the Dragon. There's footage on YouTube of him acting out the part with dots on his body in an empty room, being the character and making the faces that they ultimately CG on it, and he is fucking swinging for the fences like nobody's business. I fucking love that guy.
Oh, that sounds cool.
I mean, I've always liked him.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it's lovely being Sherlock Holmes. It's terrific that he's, Doctor Strange. That's fine. But that's easy. I'm telling you, as an actor, it's easy to play cool, and it's easy to play opposite really strong actors.
Right.
The better the other actor is, the better you are unless you totally chuck it and you're terrible. If you're even remotely real, just being in a scene with Meryl Streep, you'll be in a more realistic situation. They don't shoot Meryl Streep on a green screen. They have a real environment. When you're doing a scene with her, you're in the real space, dressed in the real clothes. The fucking place smells like coffee, if that's what it's supposed to smell like. You can't ask for a better situation, okay, as an actor. It's all present. It's a play with no fourth wall. Like, they literally will build the whole thing for her as this perfect environment. But you put a bunch of dots on somebody and make them crawl around on a gym floor and turn in a performance. That's fucking acting.
And this is on YouTube?
Yeah. It's in the behind the scenes of The Hobbit and the I think it's the Hobbit movie. It's behind the scenes of that. He's Smaug. He's the voice of Smaug. They obviously.
Oh, when you said Smaug the Dragon, first of all, Smaug in my head was SMOG. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just some weird independent film that I'd never heard of.
No.
I was like, Smaug the Dragon, interesting.
Yeah.
I'll probably never watch it, but I'll watch this YouTube video about him playing Smaug the Dragon. No,
he's the dragon in The Hobbit. And he's...
Which I've seen, by the way, 5 times.
Yeah.
Just did not click in my head at all.
Are you watching it? He's showing it to you right now.
Oh, let's see.
This is
and these guys wonder why I can't remember movie lines.
He's got a camera on his face. He's crawling around the floor in this rubber suit. There's... fucking nothing.
Oh, it went away.
But
it was cool.
He's got nothing to work with but his imagination. And to me, this is one of the reasons why Jeff Goldblum worked so much for so long in these major big blockbusters like Independence Day, like Jurassic Park, was because he kind of doesn't need anybody. His characters are such that I don't really give a fuck about you.
Right.
I'm so in my own stuff. That's why he was great as The Fly. That's why he was awesome in Jurassic Park. He doesn't have
and that's why I'm good at real life.
That's right. But he didn't even have to see it for it to be there. These actors who can act with a tennis ball, and I'm one of them. I'm happy to say, I'm really comfortable with letting my imagination own this, and this is why I'm great. If I can toot my own horn for a minute, working with bad actors. I've never
then we should definitely do something together. Because if you've ever seen any of my acting, of which there's very little. It's pretty bad.
Oft times, I will be put opposite if I'm on something very long, or if they, they'll go give him more scenes with him, so that to humanize the other actor.
We've got to shoot that short. We've got to shoot that short film.
Yeah. Oh, I can. You can just sit there and barely do a thing. And I can project emotion into you, and we put the right soundtrack in. People will go, "Oh my God, Frank is so touching right now. I can barely hold it together." That's got to be the job. It's not. By the way, I have no problem bragging, but I'm not about this because I don't think. I think it's a natural part of the skill. I don't think I think that's to be a professional actor, you should have that skill.
Right.
There are some people who are precious who can't. You know what I mean? There's some musicians who can't play unless the whole band's awesome. And then there are other people who goes, yeah, even if it's not together, we had an awesome time and the music was flowing and it was real and that person played and they fit to what was going on. They listened. And that's why and this is what has inspired me to study lately. And I feel like it's become a diatribe on this, and I apologize to the listener for that. But Steve Vai said, I think he was quoting someone else, but I love it, was that the goal of mastery in anything is not virtuosity, it's abandon. The idea of practicing and practicing and practicing your guitar to no end is not so you can go, watch what I can do, but so that when the music starts playing, you can lose yourself. You don't have to think, how do I get to this note? How can I play what's in my head? It just kind of goes because you don't have to worry about it. You know your fingers will do what your soul is telling them to do. And that's true of almost everything. And that's the value of study, of regular study. And that really inspired me earlier this year to kind of go, I know I have, because I'm in my life, I've been able to play guitar really fast for spurts of time. Like, I'm in it, and then it goes away. And that's because of my lack of focus on that level of study. And do I wish I'd realized this 10 years ago? Sure. Does it really matter? No. So in all those stages, that's what I've been doing lately. It's been really...
Look, in any art or entertainment, in fighting from hand-to-hand combat, sport fighting to war, it's the training that then allows the actual physical act to become second nature. And it's the emotion and the soulfulness, for lack of a better way to put it, that comes out in being free to just do it.
That's right.
Because your body is going to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Your body's going to do it. Now, can the rest of you do what it needs to do?
That's right. It's like the idea that once you get your black belt, you're ready to start learning. Because all the activity from starting in a martial art to getting your black belt is actually just the act of training your body to do what you tell it to do when you want it to do it.
Yeah.
When that's it. That's it. Once you get to black belt, you're like, okay, now I know all the techniques enough to, if you say them, I can jump to them, or if I need them in a moment, now I actually can start learning the application or myself. That's when it becomes an art. That's when you in the art.
The prime example is when I started stand-up. The first time I ever did it, I was super well prepared, and I followed my script, and I did it, and it went well. The second time I bombed. I know why I bombed. I bombed because I got up there scared I was going to forget my material. Well, of course, I was going to forget the practice, the structure, the memorization, the words, which were the tools that I needed to take onto stage with me.
Right.
After that, I made sure that I was always more familiar with my material because I was new, so I hadn't been doing the practice anyway, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I always did that. And then I got to a point where, exactly as you're saying, if I go on stage now, I'm completely free. Yeah. I don't worry about the shit I'm going to say because I know almost all of it, but I'm so free from it that even if I didn't remember any of it, I could pull off something else.
Yes.
Because I'm free from the worry about, will I be able to do this?
That's right.
I've worked at it.
You got a skill set.
I know I can do it.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of feeling what I feel and going up there. And so...
and that becomes... and I guess that's what I'm talking about in terms of recognizing a plateau and starting to move above it.
Yeah.
That as a stand-up, I'm getting there too, because after this last special, which the little opening's almost done. Yay.
Nice.
That in doing, I literally end the show with a mic drop. After you've done that, you're like, okay, what's the next big outpouring of stuff from me? What am I? Where am I going to go from here in that regard? And instead of being concerned in any way, I got excited about it, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do as a comedian to get to my next level. And I've almost been plateaued for like maybe 6 years or so at like a good quality level. I feel really strong about my stuff, but I know because it's stand up, there's always someplace to go. There's always someplace funnier and still manage whatever your philosophy or your ideas that you want to incorporate in at the same time. And that's been really invigorating, but a lot of it is going to require a skill point to do every night that I may not have yet. So that's why the study, that's why all the other stuff, just to kind of get in that. Even if it never works its way in, having those talents, they expand everything else. Yeah. Which is why I don't like people who get grumpy when they haven't eaten. We're going to start talking about.
We're going to start talking with that because I haven't eaten because I am grumpy.
Right.
No.
But you don't show it. Like I don't think you dump it on anybody else. You know, you may.
Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely. Just because I know also from the years of bodybuilding and competing. You know, I'd starved myself for a couple of months to get into contest shape. Right. And it's like, you can only be like, fuck you, for no reason so many times before like your girlfriend and your mom and all your friends are like, nah, dick.
Yeah.
You don't get a pass for that anymore.
Right.
So I just got over it. And also, you know, you do the intermittent fasting. And I also have gotten used to not eating for periods of time. And it's not that big a deal. Like, I'm hungry right now. So I'm a little bit like, but not in a super bad way. I'm hungrier because I worked out hard as shit this morning, and I ran last night.
Oh, okay.
And I had
so your cardio raises your appetite too.
Yeah, and I had taken the better part of a week off because I was in North Carolina. Right, so I exercised, but like not like I do here. You know what I mean? I was busy doing shit. So the workout, the run last night and the workout this morning turned the fire on, burned up everything inside me. Now it's just like, put more shit in here because you're hungry.
It's on fire, strong.
Speaking of which, the reason I was in North Carolina.
Yes.
So my exciting news that I'm happy to display publicly since I put it all over Facebook already is that I bought a fucking house.
Yeah.
Which is
all the way across the country.
All the way on the other side of the country. It's about 2,800 miles from where we're sitting right now. Yeah. So not going to see it again for a while. But exciting for me, first house. And living in Los Angeles, unless I suddenly came into billions of dollars, I was never going to buy a house. I was just going to rent here forever until I figured out what I was going to do. Then I got married and had a kid, and I'm like, I want to own property regardless for the investment.
Yep.
And so I have family that lives in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is a beautiful, cool little city right off the coast.
Yeah.
And we went out there and I had no real intention of buying a house there anytime soon. And then accidentally stumbled across this one that I fell in love with. And I'm not joking when I say I put in the offer on the house. I'd only been to Wilmington once and I'd never been to this house.
Right.
I had found it online, sent it to my stepmother, who's a realtor in Wilmington. And then when my wife, Lisa, went out with my son to visit, I did not go. She took Lisa to see this house. Lisa FaceTimed me and walked me through the house. I was like, let's put in an offer. So 1 time to the city, 0 times to the house.
Right.
Roll the dice.
Yeah, right.
Put an offer on the house. End up going into contract for it.
Yeah.
And then I flew out to see it.
Yeah.
Got there and I was like, okay, good choice. Third time I went to Wilmington was to walk into the house that I bought that I'd only seen once before. And so we were there last week, literally furnishing the house and getting that shit ready and doing it. And it was exhausting, but it was awesome. This house looks like a tiny little plantation house. It doesn't look tiny in pictures. It looks much bigger than it actually is. But it looks like a plantation house. It's on well over half an acre. Backs up to this tidal creek. So got up in the morning, went out, hopped in a kayak out of my backyard, went out in the creek, which by the way is super creepy. So when we film there, it's going to be total deliverance.
Yeah.
Kind of. Hopefully we won't get anally raped by random people because we're in the middle of Wilmington. But other than that, it felt like the creepy canoeing scenes.
Oh, it looks great. It looks like something out of that. Whatever, it's not the Wicker Man or whatever, but the that game everybody's creeped out playing online, like the kids tried to kill somebody else because of the
Slender Man. Yeah.
It looked like Slender Man's vacation yard.
Yeah. And at night the backyard, pure creepiness because it backs up to the creek. One, there's alligators in the creek.
Sure.
Legit sized out. I was like, it must be probably tiny alligators. Neighbors were like, nah, don't let your kid out there by himself.
Yeah.
Big alligators in that fucking creek. And I don't care. I'm out there kayaking. I say it like I was super brave because what happened is when I first got in the kayak, I'm like, ooh, what's down there? Yeah. And every time a stick would hit the kayak, I'd be like, fuck. I'm like, I got the paddles, I'm ready. And I'm like, okay, so if a gator tries to get me in this kayak, am I safer trying to paddle away quickly or pushing the kayak in one direction? You're supposed to throw your wallet when a mugger comes after you and you run the other way. I'm like, or just jump in the water and try to swim to shore.
See, I don't think he wants the kayak.
No, he doesn't want the kayak. But I think he thinks there's something in the kayak. And so maybe he'd be distracted, would have stayed in the kayak. Needless to say, super brave. Didn't see any alligators, so everything was fine.
Right.
But I took my son the next day, put him in with me. I got him a little Avengers life jacket. So it's got like the Hulk and Iron Man and all that on it. Yeah, still a certified life jacket.
Yeah, of course.
And he's 2, and the life jacket's his size, but he like scrunches.
I doubt Marvel would let them do that if it wasn't.
Just slap it on there.
This thing was bullshit.
Yeah,
Kid sunk like a stone. It was made out of pumice. I don't even know. That doesn't float. It's a light
literally
rock.
Was sponge candy.
Yeah, I don't understand. It was made out of taffy. Like my son's at the bottom of the lake. Thanks, assholes.
But yeah, it was fucking awesome, and that was the big news.
I'm excited to see it. I'm at the Dead Crow next week doing stand up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I so wish I could go.
I know.
Unfortunately,
Friday and Saturday, the 12th and 13th, I think it is. So I'll go by the house and shoot some spooky video.
Yeah, go by the house for sure. I'll give you the key code. I put a keypad on the front door,
right,
instead of a regular key.
That's wise. So, that's good. We got an Alexa in there. I'll hook you up with an Alexa.
I do not have an Alexa in there.
It'll be my housewarming gift for you.
And then the kayaks are in the garage, so if you're welcome to go out and go kayaking.
Yeah, absolutely. Right down the street, just in a kayak. I'm gonna go lasso a couple of alligators and have them pull it like a sleigh down the road. Is that wrong?
No, I would absolutely do that. I'm gonna try to capture one.
Next time you see me, I'm wearing boots and that's not a knife. This is a knife. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. Yeah,
you'll love it. You'll love it. And you're going to love Dead Crow comedy. So I did a set I mentioned at Dead Crow where you're going to be performing. And then if anybody hadn't seen it, you can scroll back a couple of days. But I went into the bathroom at Dead Crow to take a piss, and right over the urinal is the poster for your appearance at Dead Crow. So I'm literally pissing, staring into Hal's eyes for the first time ever, not live, which was weird.
Yeah,
but no, it was believe it or not, kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it was just weird with you looking at me. I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
Yeah, right. I'm going to put my penis away now.
Yeah. Gonna stop urinating. Just hold it until I get home.
Right.
Which was weird because I did. And then I got home and went into my bathroom. Another picture of Hal above my toilet, which is strange. It wasn't there when I left. You got to talk to your
wife about that.
Yeah. It was there when I moved into the house.
Oh, yeah. Right.
No, my wife keeps
somebody says,
like, you know how you have a thing and it opens up and it's all your kid stuff, just pictures of you.
Me. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And if you say my name 3 times in front of a bathroom mirror, a framed autographed picture of me appears on your wall over your toilet. Hi, good luck pissing. I'm gonna I should put out like a signable, like hang this in your bathroom, like enjoy your bathroom experience. Just like holding toilet paper. And
if everything comes out okay.
Yeah, right.
Good luck.
Don't forget to wash your hands. But employees must wash hands before they leave.
I fucking hope they do.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, God.
But legally. Wilmington. You've never been to Wilmington, have you? Have you?
I don't think so. I've been to so many places. It's one of those things where oh, yeah, shit, right. 2003, I did that.
But the likelihood is you would have been there for comedy. Probably.
Yes.
And if you haven't been to Dead Crow, I think that it's the only comedy club option, there, and there haven't been any. Other places.
It's an all new thing. I used to do a place in Raleigh, but I'm not doing that anymore. No. That's another story for off air. But the secret of things. Oh, and the one thing I did want to mention this time, how we're doing on time. We all right?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. We were gonna talk about this. I got the Apple AirPods. This is not an endorsement. This is just a conversation piece because I think they're hilarious. First of all, the container looks like a dental floss thing, so every time you pull it off, everybody thinks you're about to floss your teeth.
Which is a good habit, by the way.
Yeah, it is, and we recommend it. And people will be very disappointed. Oh, I thought you were going to floss, and you're just pulling out your trendy earbuds. They charge your earbuds because they act as a battery as well. So if your phone is running out, you can also plug it in, I guess, if you had a dual lightning thing or whatever. They come out of the little container and you put them in your ear, and they have an infrared sensor on the inside that lets them know that you put them in your ear, and that means engage them. They store their own charge. They'll do like 5 hours on their own and 5 hours with in the container. So after you're done with the 5 hours, you put them back in. They'll recharge without you ever having to plug the thing in.
So 10 hours in it.
And unlike most of the regular Apple earbuds that come with it or whatever, which I don't like because there's too much noise because they're not the kind that seal in your ear covered in. They sound awesome. And they jump from device to device.
I remember you telling me that.
Which is the single coolest thing. Like when I open my iPad and I've got my phone off or whatever, you can choose Apple, your AirPods. It says Hal's AirPods, and then they'll bounce over to that, and I can listen to what's on my iPad, and then go back or whatever, or my laptop.
That's why I love Apple stuff. Yeah. I mean, the
cohesion.
I'm an Apple convert and have been for a long time, and I love it all. What I hate is earbuds. Yeah, I've never liked them. All of the original versions would literally just sit loosely in my ear or fall out, and then when they got the more fitted ones, even those didn't fit correctly and would just get kind of loose, like those, the tapered ones. Yeah. So eventually I had purchased some reasonably nice ones that have the little like sort of rubber stopper, so it actually gets in your ear and stays in there. Becomes very uncomfortable after a short period of time.
You have very weird shaped ears.
I have extremely odd. I like to think of them as uniquely shaped ears.
Sure.
Specially shaped ears.
Yeah, very special ears.
I can hear certain things that other people can't hear.
This is true.
And many things I can't hear at all because my ears allow them to be tuned out. But so the worst part is the only time I really listen to earphones is either when I'm running or on an airplane.
Yep.
Because when I'm running, because obviously it's easier than like having your phone in your hand listening. And then when you're on an airplane, because there are other people around, which sucks. So I've basically...
Other people.
Other fucking people. So I've basically stopped listening to music when I run, or I just literally play it on my speaker on my phone and hold it in my hand, which sucks. But on an airplane, that didn't work. And so I went back to the loose things because at least they didn't hurt my ears. But you can't hear a fucking thing on an airplane.
That's right.
It's like...
because of the sound of the airplane. Again, it goes back to that the voice that cuts through in a metal band or whatever. The wavelength of sound that you're getting from the rumble of the plane and the really high pitched sound you don't really notice after a while, but is always there. That's why you need noise canceling headphones. It's not so much because of people talking per se. It's because of those two sonic spectrums that just ruin. Oh,
it murders. Like you can't hear anything and it ruins a movie. Or I've been downloading comedy specials from Netflix and watching those when I fly. And you can't hear, I miss a joke, then I'm just mad.
Yeah, right.
And you try to scroll back on your phone and it's like you try to go back 30 seconds and you go back 10 minutes and then you're like, fuck, I lost my spot.
Yeah.
So I broke down and I don't like just regular over the head headphones that much either. Because other than flying, I wouldn't use them anywhere else. And call me what you will. Don't like them because I feel like they're going to mess up my hair.
Yeah, I understand that.
Bothers me.
You get that weird headphone, like that odd side mohawk gap.
I get an exact amount of spikiness.
That's right.
That I want.
Very particular.
Yeah, I'm very particular about that. But I had to break down and buy them because we were going to be traveling a lot and I wanted to be able to watch some stuff. So I got them. But I just went on Amazon and literally got the Amazon brand $15 headphones.
Let's see. There is, I want to call it, I'm forgetting the name of whatever, but like they're basically like sonic, I want to say induction headphones or whatever. Like they play through your jawbone, they hang over your ear and play into the bone essentially by resting against it.
So you get brain and bone cancer.
No.
That sounds healthy. You're not even supposed to use your cell phone by your ear, and you want sonic waves to go into my ear so I can watch fucking Man on Fire while I'm on the plane.
So it's bone conduction.
Shout out to Denzel.
They're bone conduction headphones. Aftershocks is a company that puts out a Bluetooth version of them. They're not all that expensive. You can obviously hear everything, because your ears are not covered at all.
Yeah.
But apparently you can, you can hear underwater. So there's like a new version where they're trying to do these underwater versions that have a microphone in them, so you can just kind of place them around your head while you're swimming.
In case you're watching a movie while you drown.
Yeah. So the Aftershocks Trex Titanium is the favorite on this particular site, which is probably their own website or whatever. But you can buy them on Amazon. I'll show them to you. But they literally sit over your ear and rest on your jawbone right here, and they just play through your head essentially. They don't go into your ears at all. But you can run with them.
Also, wear a bike helmet.
That's right. And here
you can do all the same things you can do with a particular type of tampon. I don't recall which one it is. Definitely you can be active with some.
Yeah,
you can be on your period and also listening to this and exercising.
That's right. Yeah, and it won't and you won't lose freshness.
I feel like the people listening hate us right now.
Maybe,
they're like, are these guys just sitting there talking about fucking headphones?
Yeah,
yes,
we
are.
Yes,
we are.
I mean, but here's
our podcast.
I love these things, and I think. Other than and we'll see. I think I'm going to buy you a set of the bone conduction headphones to see if it solves your weird ear shape. Don't want to fuck up my hair. Need something while I run, and yet need to hear traffic. But also, if I'm on a plane, issues.
I will try them. But I'm skeptical.
Well, because I've always wanted to try them, but I feel like an asshole for just buying them myself because I don't have any of those issues, and I like my AirPods a lot. And again, not a paid endorsement at all. Just genuinely, honestly, when I got these, I was like, these are kind of probably going to suck. And I'm not.
Bone conduction should be a gay bar. I'm just saying that right now. Just going to throw that out there.
Where everybody dresses in like old train wear. like a conductor. Yeah. Everybody's got like a choo-choo hat on and or everybody's got a little change thing on it. Next stop, El Paso. You're like, how much to sleep with you? $29.95. Okay, shaking. Right.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, but bone conduction. It's like a techno band. It's like
it is.
EDM kind of an art or whatever. That's our new EDM act. You and me. We'll wear these weird masks.
Oh my God!
Sell to that market.
I could never do music, but I would do EDM. Only because I hate EDM so badly.
Oh yeah,
and I would love to do that.
Well, like cashing in on them. The idea of I love the idea. Yeah. I've really warmed up to the idea of cashing in on idiots. Like I don't have any desire to own some sort of like tactical gun knife combo set or whatever, but to sell a holster to those people who will, just to cash in on the money that's there, or like Bob Dylan's Christian album, his gospel album.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just like
we've talked about that.
I'd like to buy a house, right? That's one way to do it. Like I don't have to believe this shit to sell to these. It's a perfectly reasonable audience. Why not? So
I do, by the way, want the holster for the tactical gun.
Because I had an idea for one, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Who would develop and make that and put their face behind it?
Yeah, well, I was like, the idea was, a left-handed holster for, left side for a right hand or a right hand for a left grip, depending on how you do it, where your knife and your dominant is on your dominant side, and your gun is on your not dominant side or whatever.
You're in dominant.
So that basically you're reaching across to fire, jab, fire. So if you're knife fighting and shooting at the same time, or you run out of bullets, you're going to this other in a tactical fight.
We'll have to do a Kickstarter because I can't tell you how many times people have come up to me and said, here's the thing. I was in a knife/gun fight.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to juggle the weapons.
Here's what you do. He brings, he pulls a knife, you pull a gun.
He pulls a gun, you pull a knife. No matter what he has, you pull both things.
How about I pull both? Yeah, I've got a situation where I can pull both. And it won't end up on QVC anytime soon, but it seems to make a lot of sense. And it's both are side grip pulls, so the gun, the knife is small, clicks open on its exit. It's actually a flip knife as opposed to a sheath knife.
Okay.
Kind of setup. I thought it through.
I feel like we can get on Shark Tank.
That's
all I'm saying.
Yeah. With just that. But I think you and I should just brainstorm on ideas to sell to people we hate. Like, there's a bunch of assholes who buy this kind of crap.
Well, we're gonna have to come up with a lot of ideas.
I know. It's like a never-ending market. You know what I mean?
All right. I say next week we come back in each with a few ideas.
I love that idea.
Let's pitch ourselves.
So for it.
See?
I'm so for it. You and I will both write them down and trademark them or something right before we're gonna okay, you see this? Read my list. Okay, I'm gonna read your list. You saw it. I invented this, right? Okay, so if anybody runs off and does it, they heard it on this date from us at this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, you're getting a little hangry.
I am getting hungry. I've got to eat. All right. That's been episode 26.
That's right.
Thank you guys for listening. If you are watching this on Facebook, which many of you seem to be doing.
That's right.
Please still go and subscribe on iTunes.
That's right.
It's
it would
not
help
much
us
to
out.
ask. You don't have to listen on iTunes. You can just watch on Facebook. The subscription does help us. However, if you are watching this on Facebook, because that's the first place you're really discovering it, did you know that if you subscribed on iTunes, it would download to your phone automatically, and you could listen to us in your vehicle?
That's right.
So you know what you should do? Watch on Facebook, then listen on iTunes.
Yeah, right. Because you already know you know what the physical stuff's going to be like.
Exactly.
So you can laugh along.
So, all right. I'm Frank Prather.
I'm Hal Sparks.
We'll see you next week.